Let us see how we can draw an arc. There are 5 ways of creating an arc in Creo. So first is using the 3-point or tangent tool, wherein we will be able to create an arc using 3 points. And next is using the concentric tool. We will be able to create an arc which is concentric to an existing arc. So using the center and ends tool, we will be able to create an arc by specifying its center point and its end points. Using the 3 tangent tool, we will be able to create an arc which is tangent to 3 lines or 3 arcs. And using the conic tool, we will be able to create conical arc. So first let us see how we can create a 3-point tangent end tool. So let us go back to Creo. So just this is a sketch, you can consider the sketch for trying an arc. So here we have an option available for creating an arc. So once you click on the drop down, here you can see these are all the 5 ways of 5 options which is going to help us in creating the arc. So first let me choose 3-point tangent end, and it is asking me to choose 3 points. So I'll just click on the end point of this line as a first point, and if I move the cursor just normal to the target body, it is and I can click to choose the second point, and you can see if I click for the third point, it is defining the arc of the radius and it becomes tangent. You can see the T symbol shows here. So it tries to make the arc tangent to the line. So just click the point and you can see it has added the arc. So let us try it again. So you can click on this first point, and when I move the cursor out of the target, you can see it is allowing me to create an arc which is tangent to the line by default. So you can click here and it has created an arc which is tangent to the horizontal line. So this way we can create an arc using 3-point tool. And let us see the next one by using the center and ends. So wherein you can specify the center point of an arc, and you can specify the start point, and you can specify the end point. So this way you will be able to create an arc. Next we'll see the 3 tangent option, wherein we need 3 lines, or wherein we can draw an arc which is tangent to 3 lines. So let us try here. So first let me choose, this is the first line, and this is the second line, and this is the third line. So you can see it has created an arc which is tangent to all the 3 lines which I selected, and here you can see it shows the tangent constraint which is applied to this arc and between the lines. And next is the concentric tool. So it is by using this concentric tool we'll be able to create an arc which is concentric to an existing arc. So we just need to select an existing arc. So let us click on this arc, and you can see it is showing me it has taken the center point of this arc, so that the new arc will be concentric to this existing arc, and it is asking me to choose the start point. I can click somewhere and I can define its end point. So it has created an arc which is concentric to the existing arc. And let us click on conical arc. So here you need to specify the start point and the end point, and you can specify the height of the arc just by clicking here. So this way you can create an conical arc. So here by changing this value you will be able to change the shape of the conical arc. So this way the different types of arcs can be created using this 5 options available in Creo. Here as you observe, as we drawn the sketches, it has Creo has automatically added the weak dimensions to it. So there are 2 ways of making this weak dimensions into strong dimensions. So one is you can just choose the dimensions what has been given, and right click, and you can choose strong from the context menu. And here if you want to change the value, you can change the value and enter. So you will be able to convert this dimension into strong dimension, or you can directly edit the dimensions by double clicking on that. So just let me double click. So I'll specify 5, and this dimension 5 dimension has become the strong dimension. So this way you can convert the weak dimensions into strong dimensions, and you can observe the color differences between the weak dimension and the strong dimension. So the strong dimensions are looking in dark blue, and the weak dimensions are in light blue in color. So next let us see how we can dimension the sketches. And we have discussed about converting a weak dimension into a strong dimension. So now let us see how we can dimension the sketches using the normal option. First, let us see the how we can dimension the basic sketched entities using normal options. So you can go back to Creo. So let me delete the sketches whatever is being created. So I can just draw a line. I can click a line, and I can click a point somewhere here, and you can see these are all the dimensions, weak dimensions are automatically added from Creo. So here we have a normal option which is going to help us in adding the dimensions to the sketches. So you can first let us see how we can add a horizontal or vertical dimension. So just click on the normal. So let me choose the start point of this line and this point and click somewhere in horizontal direction so that it can give me a horizontal dimension. So just after selecting the 2 points, you have to use your middlemost button. Just click on middlemost button. Here you can see it has added the horizontal dimension. Here if you want to change the value, you can enter the value. So it has added the horizontal dimension. Now to add vertical dimensions, again you can click on normal, you can choose this point and you can choose this point, and you can click somewhere in the vertical direction between these two selection points. So, and click the middlemost button, so you will be able to add a vertical dimension. So let me delete one of this vertical dimension so that we can add the angle dimension. I can choose this point and I can choose this point, and I can click in the direction in which I want the dimension to be placed. So this way you can add even the aligned dimensions. You can say 30. You can add the aligned dimensions. So this way we can add horizontal, vertical and also the aligned dimension. So let me delete these sketches. So next let us see how we can add angular dimensioning of an arc, and also how we can add the diameter dimensioning, and also we'll be seeing how to add and radial dimensions, and also we can see how we can add the dimensions for the revolved sections. Let me open an example. You can click on open, you can choose the first option. So here you can see here this is the angular dimension of an arc. So I can let me delete this dimension. So you can click on normal, you can choose the start point, end point and point somewhere on the arc, and you click the middlemost button somewhere outside the arc. So you can see it has added the angular dimension for an arc. Let us open another example. You can click on figure 211. Here we can see this is the diameter dimension of this circle. So you can delete this dimension. You can delete this dimension, so it becomes weak dimension now. So you can click on normal and just click 2 times on the circle, and you click middlemost button somewhere outside this circle, so you will be able to add the diameter dimension. So here you can, if you want to change the value, you can enter the value. So here this way we can add a diameter dimension. Suppose if you want to see the radius dimension of the circle, you can choose the dimension and right click, you can click on convert to radius, so it displays the radius dimension of the circle. Again, if you want to change this radius dimension to the diameter dimension, you can select the dimension, again right click, you can choose convert to diameter from the context menu. So this way you can add the diameter dimensions to the circle. And let us see how we can add a dimension to the revolved sketch. So let me open another example. Can click on figure 13. So here you can see this is the section for revolve, and here I can delete this dimension. So you can click on normal, so you can click on the center line, you can click on the point, and again you can click on the center point, and you can click using your middle mouse button somewhere outside this section, so you will be able to add a diameter dimension to the revolved section. And here we can see how we can add a radial dimension. So you can click on some of the arc and you can create an arc somewhere here, and you can click on normal option and you can select the arc, and you can click using your middle mouse button, and it is adding the radial dimensions what you need. So just say enter, and this way you can add the dimensions to different cross sections using the normal option. Let us see how we can apply constraints to the sketches whatever we create. So these constraints are used to define a size, shape, orientation and location of a sketch entities in sketcher mode. And these constraints are helpful to reduce the number of dimensions to the sketches so that the sketch will not look very clumsy when you are working with the complex sketches. So let us see about the types of constraints. So we have 9 basic types of constraints in Creo. So vertical, which will be helpful to make any selected entity to be vertical, and horizontal, which will help us to make any line segment horizontal. Perpendicular constraint helps us in making a selected entity perpendicular to the another selected entity. And the tangent constraint is used to make two entities to be tangent each other. And the midpoint constraint will be helpful to make any point or vertex to lie on the midpoint of a selected entity. Coincident constraint helps us to make 2 points coincident or 2 lines to be coincident. And symmetric constraint is used to make a sketch section to be symmetric above the center line. And equal constraint is used to make two sketch entities equal in dimensions. And parallel constraint is used to make two lines to be parallel to each other. So let us discuss the same with some examples. So you can go back to Creo. So let me draw lines. So this is one line. I can draw one more line, and you can see. So here we have options. We have all the constraints what we discussed just before. So first let us discuss about the vertical constraint. So you can click on the vertical constraint and you can select the entity which you wanted to be vertical. So you can see it has applied the vertical constraint and the line has become completely vertical. So, and next let us discuss about the horizontal constraint. So you can click on horizontal constraint and you can choose the selected entity, and you can see the selected entity has become horizontal. And here you can see it shows displays H. It means that horizontal constraint has been applied to that line. And let me draw another line. You can see like this. So here you can click on parallel and you can choose the entities. So I'll choose this line and I can choose this line, so that the second line can become parallel to the first line. And let me draw another line. You can choose a line and you can draw a line somewhere from here to here. And here you can see this line is inclined, so we can make this line perpendicular to this line by applying the perpendicular constraint. You can click on perpendicular, you can choose this line and you can choose the other line. So you can see both the lines become perpendicular to each other now, and here you can see it has applied the perpendicular constraint. So this is a symbol for perpendicular constraint. So let us see about tangent constraint. So we need a circle for it. I can just draw a circle and I can draw a line, or can draw a line. If you want, you can draw one more circle, and here you can click on tangent constraint and you can choose the circle and you can select the line. So you can see this line and the circle are tangent to each other. And once again here you can choose the circle and here you can choose a line. You can see this line becomes tangent to the circle what we selected. And let us see about the equal constraint. So you can click on equal and you can select these two circles, so that these two circles becomes equal in dimensions. So equal constraints can be applied even to your lines. So you can draw two lines, something like this. You can draw one more line. So sorry, can delete this line and you can draw one more line which is more in length. So now you can click on equal constraint and you can choose these two lines, so that you can see now L1 constraint has been applied to both these lines, so the length of the both lines becomes equal now. So let me delete all these sketches first. Can delete the sketches. So now we can discuss about the midpoint constraint. So you can draw a line like this, and let me create a point somewhere here. Now if you want to make this point to lie on the midpoint of this line, you can use the midpoint constraint. So you can click on midpoint, you can choose the point, and you can choose this line. You can see the point comes and lies in the midpoint of this line, and here you can see it displays M. It means that the midpoint constraint has been applied between these two sketch segments. And let us discuss about the coincident. So you can draw one more line, So now if I want to make this point and this point to be coincident, so you can click on coincident, and you can choose the endpoint of this line, and also you can choose the endpoint of this line. So you can see these 2 points becomes coincident now. So once again, let me delete these sketch entities and see. So next we'll discuss about the symmetric constraints. For example, say I have a center line, can create a center line, and I can create a rectangle. I can create a line. So now we can make this rectangle to be centered with respect to the center line. So you can click on this symmetric constraint, and here you can click on these two center points, and you can click on the center point, so it becomes symmetric. And here you can see it has applied the symmetric constraint, so these 2 points are symmetric with about this center line. So again you can choose these 2 points, and you can click on the center point, and this becomes symmetric about this center point. So again we can apply equal constraints between these 2 lines, so that this becomes a complete rectangular. So this way you can apply constraints to the sketches what you created, so that the sketch behaves more intelligent than the normal sketches, and this way you can reduce the number of dimensions in your sketches, so that the sketch looks bit clean. So let us go back to our presentation. So here you can see the next we have to see how we can disable the constraints. So as you observed, as we try to create a sketch in Creo Parametric, for example, so I want to draw a line somewhere here, and you can see it automatically displays the constraints. It is asking me to select the line from this endpoint. As I draw this line, here you can see it automatically applies the vertical constraint. Suppose if I don't want the line to be vertical, or if I don't want the vertical constraint to be applied to the sketches automatically, as you draw, just before clicking the next point, you can click on the right mouse button 2 times. So just one click and the other click, you can see the vertical constraint is crossed with the line, so the vertical constraint is not being applied directly automatically to the sketch what we create. So as you click on the next point, you can see the line has not become vertical. So this way again, when I draw the line, so it shows horizontal. So again I can just use my right mouse button 2 times, so just click and the other click, so you can see the horizontal constraint has been crossed with a line, so the horizontal constraint will not be applied automatically. So this way you can disable any constraints while drawing the sketches. You can just click, so I can come out of this sketch. So let me delete the sketches, can create, and then we can go back to our presentation. So next, let us see how we can modify the dimensions of a sketches using the modify tool, and also we can modify the dimensions by directly double clicking on it, and also we can modify the dimensions by moving the sketch entities dynamically. So let us go back to Creo. Okay. So let me draw some lines. So here you can see it has automatically added the dimensions. I can draw a circle. So here you can see as we draw the sketches, it has automatically added the dimension. So the first, if you want to modify the dimension, or if you want to edit the dimensions, you can just directly double click the dimensions and you can enter the value, so that the dimensions will get modified and the sketch sections also will get modified according to the dimensions what you enter. And you can even modify these dimensions just by moving the sketch entities dynamically. As you move the sketch entities, you can see the dimension value is getting changed. So this way also you can modify the dimensions you need as you need. So you can see So unless the dimensions are locked, so you will be able to edit the dimensions dynamically by moving the entities like this. And the another way of modifying the dimensions is using the modify toolbox. You can see so this is the modify tool, which is going to help us in modifying the dimensions altogether. So you can just click on modify, and you can choose the dimensions which you want to modify. As you choose the dimensions, you can see all the dimensions will be listed here under modify dimensions options. So here you can edit the values dynamically. Say for example, if you want to change the dimension of this, you can change here. You can enter 6. As you can see, the dimension is getting updated, and also the sketch entity is automatically getting generated or regenerated. So here you can enter the value for your sketch, and you can say enter, or even you can change the value here by using this wheel. So you can see as you move the wheel, the dimension is getting changed. So this way also you can edit the dimensions as you need. You can enter the value if you want, so directly, so that the sketch, all the dimensions are getting modified. So this way you can modify more than one dimensions in using a one window, and click on OK. So this way you can invoke the modify, then you can choose the dimensions you want, or you can even select all the dimensions just by pressing Ctrl Alt A. You can see all the entities including the sketches are being selected, and click on modify. Here you can see only all the dimensions will be listed here for you to modify. So here, as we discussed, you can edit the values so that all the dimensions will be edited at a time. So this way we can save a little bit of time by doing by modifying the dimensions using the modify dimension dialog box. So let me click OK. So you can see all the dimensions are modified, and the sketch entities are getting updated as per the dimensions we entered there. So next, let us see about resolve sketch dialog box. So this resolve sketch dialog box appears whenever there is a conflict between the dimensions, or there is a conflict between the constraints when working on the sketch mode. So you can go back to Creo. Here you can see this, you can edit this value. Say I'll say 6. So you can see by adding this dimension 9 and 6, the rectangular is fully defined. Say for example, now if I try to add the another dimension, for example here to here, if I try to add the dimension, you can see here, so the dimension 6 is conflicting with the existing dimension 6, which we have already specified. So the dimension what we added newly is trying to over define the sketches. So this is where we will be resolving the sketch by using this resolve sketch dialog box. So when you click on undo, so the whatever the lost activity which we have done will be removed, or will be just sent back. So for example, if I click on undo, whatever the dimension we added, so the dimension 6 which we added recently will be deleted. So the sketch remains same like how it was before adding the dimension 6. And let us discuss about the other dimensions too. So for example, let me add the dimension again, and here if I click on, and this delete option is used to delete the dimensions, delete the conflicting dimensions. You can see the 6, if you want to delete this dimension, you can see the dimension switches from here to here. So if you want to delete this dimension, you can choose that particular dimension and you can click on delete, so that the dimension will be deleted and the sketch is resolved. And again, let me add the dimension, and here you can see this dimension ref. This is used to make the particular dimension to be referenced, so that the newly added dimension can be a normal dimension, so that you can choose the dimension which you want to make it as reference. So you can click on this dimension, and if you click it, so that particular dimension becomes reference, so that the sketch is being resolved. So you can delete this dimension. Again, let me add this dimension. So here you can see again the explain option is used to understand, or it gives the information about the selected dimension. So this way you can resolve the sketches whenever there is a conflict between the sketch or between the dimensions and the constraints using the resolve sketch dialog box. So next, let us discuss about how we can delete the sketch entities, or we can even trim the sketch entities.